Love this book. I can't read. Next, we have a book that I absolutely hated. Had me flipping page to page to read more. Hey everyone, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and I create lifestyle, entrepreneurship, and some pop culture content on this YouTube channel. And I hope you guys stick around, join the fam, join the squad. We'd love to have you here. So as you can see by today's title, I am doing a every single book that I read in 2022 video. So we're just going to go through the entire list. There's not that many. There's 17. My goal is to read 20, but we only hit 17. Next year, the goal is to hit 20. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But I thought it would just be fun to go through all the books that I read in order. I have all the physical ones next to me except one. I think I left it downstairs and I'm quite frankly too lazy to go get it. So we're just going to go through all the books that I have here. So all 16. And then 17, I'm just going to insert a picture on the screen because that's just how it's going to go. There's a lot here, so we're going to go through them as swift as possible. I'm going to give my recs, what I think you should read, what I think you shouldn't. And I'm also going to say what I rated it on Goodreads because I feel like that's just fun to know what what it was rated for me. Okay, so the first one that I read this year is called Tahira and Bloom. It is by Farah Heron. I feel like I read this book so long ago, but I guess it was only this year. I'll give you a little synopsis or I'll just read a bit of the back. So it says, when 17-year-old aspiring designer Tahira coveted fashion internship falls through, her parents have a plan B. Tahira will work in her aunt's boutique in the small town of Bakewell, the flower capital of Ontario. It's only for the summer and she'll get the experience she needs for her college application. Plus her best friend is coming along. It won't be that bad. But she just can't deal with Rowan Johnston, the rude, totally obsessive garden nerd next door with frayed cutoffs and terrible shoes. So that's all I'm going to read for that. But I gave it a 4 out of 5, and on Goodreads it's rated a 3.85 out of 5 with 1,392 ratings. Took me a little while to get into it. I feel like it started off slow for me. Towards the end, I was finding myself flipping so fast and needing to know how it ended. So overall, I would read it. It's a cute, kind of cheesy, vibey book. But I mean, I think it was okay. It was cute. It was cute. Next we got Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I was in a big Colleen kick in the beginning of 2022. I still read more books in towards the end, but it was the beginning that was the kick for me. So this one says, Morgan Grant and her 16-year-old daughter Clara would like nothing more than to be nothing alike. Morgan is determined to prevent her daughter from making the same mistakes she did by getting pregnant and married way too young. Morgan put her own dreams on hold. Clara doesn't want to follow in her mother's footsteps. Her predictable mother doesn't have a spontaneous bone in her body. With warring personalities and conflicting goals, Morgan and Clara find it increasingly difficult to coexist. The only person who can bring peace to the household is Chris, Morgan's husband, and Clara's father, and the family anchor. But that peace is shattered when Chris is involved in a tragic and questionable accident. The heartbreaking and long-lasting consequences will reach far beyond just Morgan and Clara. I don't remember 100% of the book, to be honest, but I know it was heart-wrenching. I rated this a 5 out of 5, and on Goodreads it's rated a 4.2 out of 5 with 336,000 ratings. I didn't leave a review, written review, but that's that. So I would recommend reading this. I do think it's good. I liked it. Next, we got one of my favorite books of the year, Verity by Colleen Hoover. I thought it was just so cool and good. This one says, Lowen Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her. I thought it was really cool, and it wasn't your typical cheesy little romantic love story. This one I gave a 5 out of 5, and on Goodreads it's rated a 4.39 out of 5 with 1,439 ratings. I did not expect this ending. I think the ending was for us to make our own judgments, and I don't even know where I stand with all that. a really good read and had me itching to know more. That's that. Next, we have a book that I absolutely hated. It's called We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. If anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. That's literally what the back says. I gave it a 2 out of 5, and it's rated a 3.72 out of 5 on Goodreads with a 956,000 ratings. I do not know how it has a 3.72. I said the only good part in my opinion was the plot twist. The whole beginning I kept reading and I was just waiting for something to happen. I think I was also like very confused throughout half of the book, to be honest. I don't recommend you read that. The next one is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, which is actually my least favorite Colleen Hoover book. It's not exactly love at first sight for Tate Collins when she meets the tormented and secretive Miles Archer. They wouldn't even go so far as to consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles have in common is a mutual physical attraction that can't be denied. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize they might have stumbled on the perfect no-strings arrangement. He isn't looking for love and she doesn't have time for it. So that leaves just the sex. What they've got could be surprisingly satisfying as long as Tate can stick to the 2 rules Miles has for her. Never ask about the past, don't expect a future. They think they can handle it, but everything is different when real emotions start to change the equation. This one I gave a 4 out of 5, and it's rated a 4.18 on Goodreads, and I wrote quotations, "She loved me back to life." That hit. Wasn't my absolute favorite Colleen book, but it was intriguing as always, had me flipping page to page to read more. Which is true, it wasn't my favorite, but it was still good nonetheless. Then we got Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is a really long back, so I'm just gonna read like the first paragraph. Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas, Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, one a championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their adored baby sister Kit. The siblings are a source of fascination, especially as the offspring of legendary singer Mick Riva. This one honestly kind of took me a little long to read, if I remember. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Oh yeah. And I said, took me a little while to get into, and I feel like there were too many characters at times that I got a little lost. Overall, good storyline, and ending was not what I expected. Definitely a good read. So I definitely recommend this book, but it did take me a little while to get into it, and I was kind of confused at points. Next, we got Layla by Colleen Hoover. Told you, I literally had a kick at the beginning. When Leeds meets Layla, he's convinced he'll spend the rest of his life with her, until an unexpected attack leaves Layla fighting for her life. After weeks in the hospital, Layla recovers physically, but the emotional and mental scarring has altered the woman Leeds fell in love with. In order to put the relationship back on track, Leeds whisks Layla away to the bed and breakfast where they first met. Once they arrive, Layla's behavior takes a bizarre turn, and that's just one of the many inexplicable occurrences. Feeling distant from Layla, Leeds soon finds solace in Willow, another guest at the B&B with whom he forms a connection through their shared concerns. As his curiosity for Willow grows, his decision to help her find answers puts him in direct conflict with Layla's well-being. Leeds soon realizes he has to make a choice because he can't help both of them. But if he makes the wrong choice, it could be detrimental for all of them. This one was really, really interesting. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I wrote, Leeds sucks. I felt bad for Willow, Layla, and even Sable. To be honest, I wasn't expecting the twist, and I always love what Colleen writes. This does have a lot of triggering topics, though. I also am interested in afterlife and what happens to us. I think it's interesting to think about how we were born with no memories, even though we formed for 9 months. I always wonder what happens after death. Maybe I enjoyed this book because it made me think about those things. Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5, and on Goodreads, it's a 3.73 out of 239,000 ratings, which is so many people reading these books. Okay, next we have They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This one, honestly, I just picked it up because I saw it in the store and I was like, ooh, this sounds cool. On September 5th, a little after midnight, death calls Mateo Torres and Rufus Emeterio to deliver some bad news. They're going to die in less than 24 hours. Mateo and Rufus are total strangers, but for different reasons. They're both looking to make a new friend on their end day. The good news is there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend. And through it, Rufus and Mateo meet up for one final epic adventure to live a lifetime in a single day. When I read it at the store, I was like, oh, that like sounds really cool and like different. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and it's rated a 3.82 out of 5 on Goodreads with 553,000 ratings. I wrote, good book, slow paced. Some parts I felt as if they didn't need to be included. Definitely pulled at my heartstrings. It's such a wild concept because we never truly know when we'll die. And if we did, I wonder how we'd actually spend it. Hope they find each other in the afterlife. Wow, Amanda's so sweet, so sweet, so thoughtful. Next, we have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter, but the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out, no matter how hard she works to prove herself. The only person who hasn't closed the door on her completely is Ledger Ward, a local bar owner and one of the few remaining links to Kenna's daughter. But if anyone were to discover how Ledger is slowly becoming an important part of Kenna's life, both would risk losing the trust of everyone important to them. The two form a connection despite the pressure surrounding them, but as the romance grows, so does the risk. Kenna must find a way to absolve the mistakes of her past in order to build a future out of hope and healing. This one hit, I remember. I gave it a 5 out of 5 and it's rated a 4.49 out of 5 with 641,000 ratings. This one I said, this had me in tears. In the epilogue, Colleen wrote, "We have no idea how many broken pieces they're made up of on the inside, and that alone encompasses the whole novel for me. Such a beautiful yet sad story. I didn't want to put the book down." But yeah, that one was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Next, we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, I believe. Alicia Berenson's life is seemingly perfect until one night when her husband Gabriel returns home late from work and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. Alicia's refusal to talk or give any kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into a mystery that captures the public imagination. And she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids at the Grove, a secure psychiatric unit in North London. Criminal psychotherapist Theo Faber is captivated by Olivia's story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband will take him down a path more unexpected and more terrifying than he ever imagined. This one is really good. It did take me a little while to get into it, I remember, but I thought it was good. I didn't write a review though. But yeah, I gave it a 4. It was rated a 4.17 on Goodreads with 1,297,000 reads or ratings. But yeah, I didn't really write anything, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. We're getting there. We're almost done. Then we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman hate each other, not dislike, not begrudgingly tolerate. Hate. And they have no problems displaying their feelings through a series of ritualistic passive-aggressive maneuvers as they sit across from each other, executive assistants to co-CEOs of a publishing company. Lucy can't understand Joshua's joyless, uptight, meticulous approach to his job. Joshua is clearly baffled by Lucy's overly bright clothes, quirkiness, and Pollyanna attitude. Now that they're up for the same promotion, their battles of wills has come to a head, and Lucy refuses to go back down when their latest game could cost her her dream job. But the tension between Lucy and Joshua has already reached its boiling point, and Lucy is discovering that maybe she doesn't hate Joshua, and maybe he doesn't hate her either, or maybe this is just another game. This book actually was made into a movie that I've never watched yet, so I should watch it soon because I actually enjoyed the book. I didn't write anything again, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. And on Goodreads, it's rated a 3.97 out of 5 with 568,000 ratings. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation. Honestly, I feel like I lied on my rating now that I'm looking at it because I gave it a 4 out of 5, but I think I would have given it a 3 because it was low-key so boring. Poppy and Alex and Poppy, they have nothing in common. She's a wild child, he wears khakis. She has insatiable wanderlust, he prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small hometown. But every summer for a decade, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together. I'm not even going to read the rest because I don't recommend this book. I literally was bored the entire time. So I wrote 4 out of 5, but it's a 3 out of 5 for me. And on Goodreads, it's rated a 3.95 out of 720,000 ratings. I don't know why. I just couldn't bring myself to get into it. I was bored a lot of the time. It just wasn't the book for me. And then I also read another book from Emily Henry, which is called Book Lovers. This one was a bit better. Nora Steffen's life is books. She's read them all, and she is not the type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister Libby, which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August, when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away with visions of a small-town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. There's more on the back, but it's really long. But that one I gave a 4 out of 5, and I think it is a true 4 out of 5. And on Goodreads, it's rated a 4.24 out of 494,000 ratings. I recommend reading that. Honestly, the only one I really don't recommend right now is We Were Liars and People We Meet on Vacation. Those are the two that no thank you. This one holds a special place in my heart. It's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I love this book. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her life might be in danger. I love this book. There's 2 more, so I'm so excited to read those. I gave this a 5 out of 5, and it's rated a 4.36 out of 5 with 451,000 ratings. I wrote, so good, couldn't stop flipping the pages, wanting to know more. I love the writing style, along with how real it felt with all the research going on. You'll know what that means once you read. I love this book, so definitely check it out and check out the other ones, even though I didn't read them yet. So good. Then we have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Macy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away, but when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it on the very night he declared his love for her. There's more to the back, but I'll leave you to that. I really enjoyed this one as well. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I said such a good read, had my emotions all over the place. And on Goodreads, it's rated a 4.34 out of 5 with 258,000 ratings. So that's fun. And then we have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. So this is the sequel to It Ends With Us, the book that went viral on Book Talk and everywhere. Lily and Ryle have just settled into civil co-parenting rhythm with their daughter, Emerson, when Lily suddenly runs into Atlas nearly 2 years after they last spoke. Elated that the timing finally seems to be right to give what they have together a real chance, Atlas asks Lily on a date. That's all I'm gonna read. I liked it. I mean, there's a lot of mixed reviews on it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and it's rated a 4.04 out of 5 with 396,000 ratings. If you liked It Ends With Us a lot, like, you might not like this one, because I feel like it wasn't necessary, like, we didn't need it, but it was cute to read. So I don't know. Do what you will with that. And the last book I read is the one that I don't have with me right now, but it's called The Mad Girls of New York by Maya Rodal, and it's based on a true story. Fearless reporter Nellie Bly will stop at nothing to chase down stories that expose injustices against women, even if it comes at the risk of her own life and freedom. In this exciting novel inspired by the true story of one remarkable woman, in 1887 New York City, Nellie Bly has ambitions beyond writing for the ladies' page, but all the editors on Newspaper Row think women are too emotional, respectable, and delicate to do the job. But then the New York world challenges her to an assignment she'd be mad to accept and mad to refuse. Go undercover as a patient at Blackwell's Island Insane Asylum for Women. For months, rumors have been swirling about deplorable conditions at Blackwell's, but no reporter can get in. That is until Nellie feigns insanity, gets committed, and attempts to survive 10 days in the madhouse. This book I gave a 4 out of 5, and it's rated a 3.99 out of 5. I thought it was really, really interesting, and the fact that it's based on a true story really, like, hit at my heart because of the stories that are inside the book. I really recommend it. I honestly didn't even know this book existed until I looked in the bookstore, so go check that one out. But that's all the books I read in 2022. I'm so excited to see what other books I read in 2023, and hopefully I can hit that goal of 20 books since I hit 17. 3 more, we can get that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Comment down below your favorite read of 2022. I think mine would either be Verity by Colleen Hoover or A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Like, those are my ones that were up there this year that I recommend to everyone. Yeah, thank you guys so much again for watching. Please comment your favorite books, comment some books that I should read next year. And yeah, thank you guys again. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.